Congratulations. Your new above-ground pool is an investment which will provide you and your family with many years of fun and fitness in your own backyard. The following video will demonstrate the ease with which you can install your own pool. It is intended to supplement your owner's manual. While you may notice some differences in appearance or features between your pool and the one shown on the video, the installation will always follow the same general procedure. Always consult your instruction manual for specific information concerning your pool. Try to keep in mind particularly critical points which are covered in the video and the manual to eliminate any possibility of error. You do not need any specialized tools to install your new pool. Only a shovel, rake, screwdriver, straight 2x4, a stake or stakes, tape measure, a can of spray paint, an awl, punch or large skewer, and a carpenter's level. We think you'll find the following video simple yet detailed enough to assure success. The choice for the location of your pool is probably the most important decision to make when deciding to install a pool. The instruction manual contains a planning guide which will help you to make that decision. Among the principal factors you will have to consider are municipal bylaws concerning the distance between the swimming pool and your fence or property line, overhead wires, underground water, gas, or telephone utilities, and other points discussed in your instruction manual. Now that you have selected the most appropriate spot to set up your pool, we can begin mapping out the pattern on the lawn area. Having marked the approximate location of the pool, we are now locating the position for one of the center stakes, letter A in the diagram in your manual, to mark one of the round ends, allowing an extra 6 inches for clearance. The pool being installed here is a 12-foot by 24-foot oval. Therefore, the distance in from the outer perimeter to the center stake is 6 feet plus an additional 6 inches for a total of 6½ feet. Now, with a measuring tape pivoting from the stake, measure out 6 feet 6 again and begin marking the pool circumference with a can of spray paint. Mark the semicircle at the other end of the pool in exactly the same fashion, and then mark the straight sides of the pool, allowing 30 inches clearance on each side. Once this has been done, you will be able to evaluate the exact location you have chosen. Should you have any doubts, now is the time to make any adjustments. With the pattern of the pool now satisfactorily outlined, it's time to remove all the grass encompassing that area. With a shovel, you should now cut along the painted circumference of the pool area, then cut the grass into strips approximately 16 inches wide. Start at one end of the strip and begin rolling up the grass to a manageable size and remove from the pool area. You may wish to use this sod elsewhere on your property. Pools should always be installed on level ground. Of course, this is not always possible, and this particular installation is no exception. The property pictured here slopes toward the side, which means that a certain amount of digging will be required to obtain a level base. Always determine the lowest point of the pool area and level to this point. Low ground must never be built up in order to level the surface. To do so could cause future problems for the stability of the pool. To determine the amount of soil to be removed, relocate the centers of the semicircles and hammer stakes into the ground. Connect a string between the stakes and drive pegs every 34 inches along the string. Using a 2x4 and a carpenter's level, place the 2x4 on the first stake and go to the lowest section of the pool area. Ensure that the 2x4 is level and take a measurement. You will notice in this particular installation there's approximately 1 inch from the top of the 2x4 to the ground surface. As you turn the plank in a complete circle, like the hands of a clock, you will detect high and low spots. Place the carpenter's level on the plank and swing it around in the same manner. This will indicate how much digging will have to be done. Move to the next peg in line and repeat this procedure exactly like you did before. When you have checked the entire pool area in this fashion, you will know how much soil has to be removed to level the site. At the high end of the pool site, we're removing approximately 1 inch of soil, slowly tapering off until we reach the other end of the pool. When you have removed the necessary soil and leveled the ground all the way around, a little extra time should be spent making the surface smooth and removing any stones, roots, or other objects that may be hazardous to the liner. At this time, if you live in an area such as Florida, where nutgrass or Bermuda grass can be a problem, you should apply an approved herbicide following the instructions of your dealer. Now that you have determined that the pool site is level, it's time to open up all of the swimming pool cartons that contain the parts for your specific pool. Remove the parts from the cartons and lay them out neatly in a safe spot. Refer to your instruction manual for the size and model of the pool you have purchased. The carton will contain a complete parts list to check against. At this point, you should determine which type of oval pool you have by opening the box or boxes marked mid-pack. If your mid-pack box contains long, hold-down plates like these, continue viewing this section. If not, skip this section and proceed to the next section marked by a stop sign. Lay the square bottom rails and base plates around the circumference of the two semicircles. By laying the bottom rails and the base plates around the bottom of the pool, you will know where the small patio stones should be placed. At this time, also, you should unfold the liner and lay it in the sun in a secure spot. This will help to remove any wrinkles later. At this time, you can also begin the sub-assembly of the straps and support bases. Remove the straps from the carton and roll them out so that they lie flat, removing any kinks. Align the end of the strap, the notched end of the support base, and a universal bracket, making sure that the upright tab with 2 holes faces the inside of the pool. Fasten with 4 carriage bolts, as shown here. Now attach a universal bracket at the opposite end of the support base. After moving the large patio stones into their approximate location, take the strap assemblies and lay them across the pool. Set the first 2 patio stones in place, taking great care to ensure that they are level with the pool floor. The patio stones provide the firm foundation for the buttress support. An oval pool, because of its shape, receives greater pressure on the straight sides as opposed to the round ends. The buttresses, straps, and hold-down plates provide the extra strength along the straight side necessary to compensate for this. Once the first 2 patio stones are in place, attach the strap assembly to the curved bottom rails by sliding the end of the bottom rail into the notched portion of the support base about 1.5 inches, as shown. Slide the galvanized inner hold-down plate into the painted outer hold-down plate and attach to the universal bracket, making sure that the screw head is on the inside of the pool. Place the second strap in the position it will occupy when fastened to the hold-down plates. This locates where to dig for the next patio stone. Continue along the straight sides until all patio stones are in place and the hold-down plates are all fastened to the universal brackets, and then attach the straight sides to the curved bottom rails on the opposite side of the pool from where you began. We suggest that you place a patio stone under each vertical of the curved sections for extra stability. The main objective is to make sure that the entire structure of the pool is sitting on as firm a base as possible. Great care should be taken when leveling the patio stones because it is an extremely important phase of the installation. Once the rest of the patio stones have been placed and leveled with the surrounding earth, use a 2x4 plank to check the level of each stone to the next stone. A little extra time taken at this stage will ensure a firm and level foundation. After you have leveled all the patio stones, you can start assembling the bottom rails and base plates on the round ends of the pool. With the base plate centered on the patio stones, slide the bottom rail into the base plate as shown here. Adjust the gap between each bottom rail to approximately 1/2 inch. Complete this procedure with the balance of the bottom rails and base plates. You may notice that the base plates of your pool appear to be different from those shown here. This is nothing to be concerned with, as the style of the base plate can differ with each model of pool. Your instruction manual will assist you in identifying the proper base plate to use. Next, we will erect the side verticals. The longest units are the verticals. Taking one of the verticals, you will see 4 holes approximately in the middle. Attach a universal bracket using 4 1/2 inch bolts and nuts. The vertical is then positioned over the inner universal bracket on the support plate so that the vertical is on the outside of the bracket. The vertical is attached using the long screws, washers, and nuts. If you wish to be able to pivot the vertical when installing the liner, insert only the outermost screw at this time, but don't forget to attach the other long screw later. When all of the verticals are in place, your progress should look like this. Now it is time to bring in the brick sand. Make a ramp of patio stones or bricks to protect the bottom rail. Spread the sand evenly to a uniform depth of 3 inches, making sure the straps are well covered. This is important to provide a protective base on the bottom of the pool for the liner to rest on. Do not rake the sand right to the bottom rail at this stage, or it will interfere with the wall installation. We are now ready to erect the wall of your swimming pool. The wall should be erected on a calm day when the wind is not blowing strongly. Remove the wall from the carton, making sure you remember which end is up. The reason for this is that the knockout section of the skimmer is located in the upper section of the wall. Carry the wall to the center of the pool and place it on a piece of plywood. Cut the string and begin unrolling the wall. You will soon see the knockout section referred to earlier, and you must decide the most logical spot to have your skimmer, filter, and pump located. This should be on one of the rounded ends of the pool. The wall must start at the center of one of the base plates because you will want to conceal the joint behind one of the verticals. Before placing the wall in position, ask a neighbor or two for assistance. It is suggested that someone hold the wall firmly in the starting position while the wall is being placed into the bottom rail. On the straight sections, the wall is placed in the track formed by the wall support. Once you have about 1/3 of the wall in place, go back to your starting position and slide the slotted stabilizer tubing onto the top edge of the wall. You will note the curved sections of tubing which go on the round ends of the pool and the straight lengths of tubing for the sides. The stabilizer tubing is joined together with a short tube connector as you go. By following this procedure, the wall will be much more manageable to handle as you slide the rest of it in place. When you have uncoiled the entire wall, you may find that the wall ends overlap too much, or there may be a gap. This is not a problem. The adjustment is made by increasing or decreasing the space separating the bottom rails in the base plates. This is done by gently tapping the base plates from the outside if you are closing up the gap, or, should the ends of the wall overlap, by tapping the base plates from the inside, increasing the spacing of the bottom rails in the base plates. Once you have tapped some of the base plates, gently shake the wall in the appropriate direction until the holes in the wall ends line up exactly. You can see this installer has just adjusted the gap very easily, and so can you. Place the plastic sleeves on the bolts, and placing a screwdriver through one of the holes to maintain alignment, insert the bolts from the inside of the wall and attach the nuts on the outside. Make sure there are bolts in all of the holes. Tighten the bolts securely and cover the heads of the bolts with several layers of duct tape to serve as protection for the liner. The final length of slotted tubing is installed at this point. The wall should be level around the pool. If it is not, remove the wall and re-level the base frame. Attach the angled side diagonals to the universal brackets located on the support base and side vertical. Make sure all nuts and bolts are tightened securely and insert the long screw in the base of the side vertical. Now skip the next section. If your mid-pack box contains short, curved base rails and base plates like those shown here, this section will show you how to assemble your pool. First, lay out the long base rails and base plates which form the round half circles at each end of the pool. Note that 4 of the base rails are slightly longer and have painted ends. These rails are to be located at the 4 corners of the pool, where the round sections join the straps and buttresses. Consult the diagram in your installation manual if you are unclear on this point. Slide the base rails into the base plates as shown, allowing a gap of approximately 1/2 inch or 1 1/4 centimeters. Making sure that the semicircles maintain their alignment as staked out earlier, mark the approximate location of the base plates and remove the rails and base plates. You may now set the patio stones in place. At this time, also, you should unfold the liner and lay it in the sun in a secure spot. This will help to remove any wrinkles later. We suggest that you place a patio stone under each vertical of the curved sections for extra stability. The main objective is to make sure that the entire structure of the pool is sitting on as firm a base as possible. Great care should be taken when leveling the patio stones, because it is an extremely important phase of the installation. Once the rest of the patio stones have been placed and leveled with the surrounding earth, use a 2x4 plank to check the level of each stone to the next stone. A little extra time taken at this stage will ensure a firm and level foundation. Now it is time to remove the straps from the carton and unroll them, making sure to remove any kinks. Lay the plates and short curved bottom rails at each end of the straps. Attach an end plate to the end of the previously assembled semicircular base rail, and then use a short length of bottom rail to join this plate to the next. Continue down the line and attach the last plate to the end of the other semicircle and do the same thing on the other side of the pool. The location of the plates now establishes where to set the long patio stones. The number of straps varies with the size of the pool, so don't worry if you don't have as many straps as shown in the video. An oval pool, because of its shape, receives greater pressure on the straight sides as opposed to the round ends. The buttresses, straps, and hold-down plates provide the extra strength along the straight side to compensate for this. Set the long patio stones in place, making sure they are level with the pool floor. If you cannot obtain long patio stones, use 2 to make the length, making sure they are level to each other and the earth floor. Attach the strap reinforcing bracket to the long strap, the end strap, and the plate using bolts, washers, and nuts. Tighten securely and reattach the bottom rails. At the other end of the end strap, attach a diagonal bracket with the 45-degree angle tabs facing out as shown. Pre-assemble the buttress verticals and diagonals by attaching a diagonal bracket to the vertical with the 45-degree tab facing toward the top of the pool. Bolt the diagonal brace to the diagonal bracket using the long bolt, washers, and acorn nut. Finger tighten only at this stage. Mount the buttress assemblies to the strap assemblies by placing the vertical over the tabs on the plate and attach with long bolt washers and the acorn nut. Position the diagonal over the diagonal bracket at the end of the strap and attach in the same fashion. Now, tighten all 3 acorn nuts securely. Slide a buttress sleeve down inside each buttress vertical. Now it is time to bring in the brick sand. Spread the sand evenly to a uniform depth of 3 inches, making sure the straps are well covered. This is important to provide a protective base on the bottom of the pool for the liner to rest on. Do not rake the sand right to the bottom rail at this stage, or it will interfere with the wall installation. Carry the wall to the inside area of the pool. Remember that you must decide where you want the skimmer located, and, more importantly, be sure that the wall end is started in the center of one of the base plates on one of the round ends. Unroll the wall and begin positioning it into the bottom rail. On the straight sides of the oval pool, the wall slips into the bottom rails and is supported by the plates. Install the slotted tube and complete exactly as shown in the round pool section. There is one other component of this style oval pool which will be installed after the wall is in place. The hold-down plate which slides between the inside of the wall and the short bottom rail on either side of the straps before the sand is raked to the wall. At the corners, or transitions from straight to round sections of the pool, only one hold-down plate is installed inside the short bottom rail. When you have uncoiled the entire wall, you may find that the wall ends overlap too much, or there may be a gap. This is not a problem. The adjustment is made by increasing or decreasing the space separating the bottom rails in the base plates. This is done by gently tapping the base plates from the outside if you are closing up the gap, or, should the ends of the wall overlap, by tapping the base plates from the inside, increasing the spacing of the bottom rails in the base plates. Once you have tapped some of the base plates, gently shake the wall in the appropriate direction until the holes in the wall ends line up exactly. You can see this installer has just adjusted the gap very easily, and so can you. Place the plastic sleeves on the bolts, and placing a screwdriver through one of the holes to maintain alignment, insert the bolts from the inside of the wall and attach the nuts on the outside. Make sure there are bolts in all of the holes. Tighten the bolts securely and cover the heads of the bolts with several layers of duct tape to serve as protection for the liner. The final length of slotted tubing is installed at this point. The wall should be level around the pool. If it is not, remove the wall and re-level the base frame. Remove the plywood and rake the sand toward the perimeter again, removing any stones which could cut the liner. Construct a cove 8 inches or 20 centimeters high of sifted topsoil or sand to support the liner and prevent it from creeping under the wall and coming into contact with the sharp edges of the bottom frame. You may also use commercially available polyethylene foam cove. The cove is a very important element of your pool and is critical to prevent liner failure. Once you have completed the cove, rake the pool base smooth again. Seal the skimmer hole with duct tape. The reason for this will be explained momentarily. Before installing the liner, it may be helpful to tape the slotted tubing and connectors to hold them in position. Bring the liner into position Smooth side down and drape over the wall, trying not to disturb the sand base in doing so. Once you have unfolded the entire liner, drape approximately 12 inches of the top section of the liner over the wall and hold it temporarily in place with one of the 4-foot lengths of flexible plastic coping. Notice how easily the coping is put in place. As you can see, the coping holds the liner in place as it is gently draped over the remainder of the pool wall. You should ensure that the liner overlap is evenly spaced around the wall. Now go to the return fitting hole with both the duct tape and your household vacuum. Measure from the return hole to about 12 inches above the ground using the vacuum hose. Then insert the hose into the hole up to the length at which you arrived. Tape the hose securely in this position, making sure to seal around the hose, and turn on the vacuum. What this is actually doing is drawing out the air between the pool wall and the liner. As the vacuum is running, take a soft bristle broom and tap the liner on the lower portion against the wall just above the cove. This will help bring the liner tighter to the wall and center it in the pool. It may be necessary to drape more liner over the wall after doing this exercise. However, this is just a matter of removing the coping, pulling any excess liner material taut, and putting the coping on again. Don't be afraid to spend as much time as necessary to adjust the liner to eliminate wrinkles. When the coping has been repositioned, make sure that the ends butt up against each other and cut off any excess to avoid overlapping. Once this stage is completed, you can begin filling the pool with water. Leave the vacuum running until the water has reached 6 to 8 inches in depth. Make sure the vacuum you are using is properly grounded and is not operated on damp or wet ground. Great care should be taken when operating electrical equipment near water. As the pool is filling with water, roll the excess liner material up towards the coping and tape it in place. Continue this all around the pool. When the top rail is put in place, it will cover the material so it will not be seen and give a finished appearance. Take a top plate for the side vertical and hook it over the wall and liner as shown, taking care not to cut the liner. Attach the top plate to the side vertical with self-tapping screws. The next step is the assembling of the vertical supports on the curved sections of the pool. The upright is assembled from bottom to top. Position the vertical outside the tabs of the bottom plate and fasten with the self-tapping screws which are supplied. Now the top plate will hook over the coping and the tabs in this case are positioned on the outside of the upright. Once again, using the self-tapping screws, secure the top plate to the upright. The vertical should be perfectly upright. This can be checked with either a level or by running your finger along the side of the vertical, parallel with the corrugation of the wall. Certain pool models also require an additional support plate to be placed on top of the top plate to provide extra strength and stability to the top rail. Be sure to check to see if your pool is supplied with these support plates before continuing. As soon as all of the uprights and top plates are fastened in place, you can proceed with the installation of the top rails. The top rails have been pre-punched to line up with the holes in the top plate and are fastened with self-tapping screws. Your pool may require either 2 or 3 screws at each end of the top rail. In case minor adjustments are necessary, it is suggested that all the top rails be fastened loosely until they are all in position. Once satisfied with the positioning of the top rails, they can then be tightened in place, and you can carry on with the next step, which is the connectors. The top connector's purpose is primarily to cover the gap between the ends of each top rail and enhance the appearance of the pool. The one-piece molded connector is applied on the round ends of the pool by hooking the tabs under the bottom edge of the top rail on the inside of the pool. The front tabs are then bent down and over the bottom edge of the top rail on the outside of the pool. The straight one-piece connectors for the sides are applied in a similar fashion. If your pool comes with two-piece connectors for the round or straight sides of the pool, the inner piece easily hooks under the bottom edge of the top rail on the inside of the pool. The outer connector has been made to slide over the inner connector and is additionally held in place on the upright by one or more self-tapping screws. Some connectors have a prong on the inside surface between the two screw holes, which fits into a central locating hole on the upright to assist in lining up the connector on the vertical. Once again, certain components differ from one model of pool to another, and your instruction manual will clarify any uncertainties. Remove the tape from the square skimmer hole and put the skimmer sealer through the hole so that it shields the inside hole all the way around. By running your finger along the outside perimeter of the opening, you will be able to locate where the pre-punched holes are. As you do this, shove an awl through the hole and through the liner. Mount the white plastic skimmer faceplate and gasket on the inside of the pool. Push the self-tapping screws through the faceplate and into the holes of the skimmer housing. When this is finished and the screws have been tightened all around, use a sharp knife and carefully cut out the liner material within the skimmer hole area. Be careful not to cut the skimmer sealer. After about a week, the gaskets will have seated themselves properly, and it is recommended that the screws be retightened. The return fitting is next to be put in place. Carefully cut out the liner material within the round return fitting hole. Put one of the gaskets on the fitting, and from the inside of the pool, shove it through the hole. Slide the other gasket over the fitting from the outside, and then tighten the fitting collar in place. Next, attach the filter and pump, following the manufacturer's instructions. The pump and filter should be positioned on a patio stone for support. Now the water level in the pool should be brought up to approximately the center of the skimmer hole or faceplate. This is the level that should be maintained for proper circulation. Well now, that wasn't as difficult as you might have imagined, was it? The installation you have just seen was a typical one. The swimming pool you wish to install may look a little different than this, and your location may also differ. However, the basic fundamentals of installation principles will not vary from what you have seen here today. Allowing for some time and patience, you and your family will soon be swimming in your own pool. Above-ground pools can provide years of pleasurable fun and enjoyment for the entire family, but certain important safety rules must be followed. Although the depth of water should not exceed 3.5 feet, supervision of children is still necessary. Never dive or jump into an above-ground pool. This means from the top rail, a ladder, a deck, or anything else that might serve as a launching area. Serious injury can be the result of this type of careless behavior. We urge you and your family to refrain from any activity of this nature, and be sure you inform other people who may wish to use your pool. Following these simple rules will provide your family with years of fun and enjoyment.